I'm Pastor Henry Hildebrandt. I thank God this afternoon for freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. I thank God for all those freedoms that God has given us. Before I begin this afternoon, I just want to mention to you that I am a voice for many, many thousands of people, perhaps millions. Many people don't have a voice. Many people cannot speak for themselves. Many people are trapped in their problems. They don't know what to do. God forbid that I would not speak up for them. Here I am this afternoon, and I feel so troubled in my soul to think that a fellow pastor is sitting in prison in Calgary as I speak. Another one is hiding because there's a warrant of arrest out for him. Here the doors behind me are locked, and on and on and on it goes. This afternoon I want to briefly speak to you about the blatant hypocrisy that we have been seeing in the last couple of weeks. It is hard to understand when you see such gross hypocrisy. How is it that people do not see it? How is it that people do not wake up? But I thank God for those that are recognizing something is just very, very wrong. Pastors are being fined hundreds and thousands, I said hundreds and thousands of dollars. You may ask, for what? For doing exactly what the people that put the fines on them, for doing exactly the same. But for one there is one measure, and for somebody else there's a different law. One, he may sit on top of the high rise and enjoy a beautiful meal, no social distancing, no mask, nothing, just enjoy the meal right on top of the high rise, looking down, seeing what the slaves are about to do. Looking down, sending out the helicopters to trace down pastors, find out the underground church in Canada. I said the underground church in Canada, and then send the cruisers over there and capture those pastors, tear them away from their crying children, putting them in prison, forcing them or trying to force them to sign that they will abide by the health rules, by the mandates that have been placed there by the unelected health officials. Meanwhile, they're sitting up on the high rise and enjoying their meal, or maybe enjoying the G7 meeting, taking the masks off, forgetting about social distancing, having a party and just drinking beer, just enjoying their time in Cornwall, England, or maybe in Brussels, Europe, and just debating, what are we going to do with the slaves next? What are we going to do looking at the post there? What are we going to do in 2030? Take off your mask, sirs. Turn this way. Turn that way. What a beautiful life we're enjoying while the peasants are slaving away. This afternoon, I am not just a voice for the churches, although that is primarily what I am, that has God called me to be. I'm also speaking for the small businesses that you are killing. I'd like to refer to a scripture to you out in Genesis chapter 4, verse 10 and 11, where God is asking Cain, where is your brother? He said, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, you are. God says, your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. Another scripture in Exodus 3 verse 7 says about the same thing, says their cry has come to me about their cruel masters has come to my ears. God is noticing what is happening. The blood of the peasants, the blood of the slaves is crying from the ground up and saying, how long, O Lord? How long? What is happening? Like I said, while you are partying on the housetop, while you are just enjoying and just can't figure out what else to do with your money, with your life, maybe I could ask this question. Has any government official missed a paycheck? Or have you received one regularly as it was before COVID? Here we are jailing these people that are trying to make a living. We are confiscating these small businesses. And then we are breaking the news to them. Wonderful news, wonderful news. We'll open it up just a little bit. You now can set up a table on the sidewalk. What is happening? What is happening in this world that we're living in? You know what is happening? Blatant hypocrisy. When our premier sees fit, he flips the switch and he says, for tomorrow, there's no regulations. For tomorrow, we will turn this off. Yes, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. The Bible agrees. God agrees. Let's go to London and let's show support for this hurting family. Let's do it. But let me show you the hypocrisy. When there is political propaganda to be done, or there's an opportunity for it, then we can just flip the switch and then we can do it. And then there is no danger. One day, thousands gather. Another day, thousands gather. Another day, thousands gather. No tickets. But when it's the pastor in Calgary, then now we have to do something. Friend of mine, another pastor from nearby, just got another 4 tickets today. For what? For what are you ticketing us? For what are you fining us? Sirs, what have we done? You know what we have done? You know what we have done? We didn't even go to this locked up building. You forced us out of here, so we are in the front lawn. We're preaching our heart out, and we're praying with people to be saved. A big fine of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But when you party on the housetop, or when you join the G7, or you go to Brussels, and you watch, what's the agenda for 2030? What will we all do? Then there's no fines. Then there's no problem with it. How long will you haunt the underground churches? How long will you chase after the pastors? In closing, let me say this. Don't worry about pastors speaking up. Don't worry about it maybe not being love. It is love. It has been the job of the pastors, the job of the prophets, always through history. It has always been their job to cry out against hypocrisy, to cry out when there was wrong being done. How can you tear away those pastors from those crying children, and you partying away their blood? The blood of these dear little ones is crying to heaven. The cry has come before God, and you are accountable. You will be held accountable. God will vindicate His children one way or another. God will vindicate those little children that are suffering because you took their daddy's business away. You took the business away from the single mom that didn't know how else to make a living. You took it away from them. As you're partying away, like I said on the housetop, God has kept a record of it. We will keep on preaching. You will not find us. You will not find us high enough to stop. We will continue to be the people of God that we need to be, because God has called us to do that. God has called us to do that. And you know it is right what we're doing. You know it is right because you are doing the same thing. You forget all about social distancing. You forget all about physical distancing. Once you arrive, you can be in a crowd of thousands of people, Mr. Prime Minister, and then you hop on a plane, and then you arrive at the G7, and no issue whatsoever. You didn't even get a ticket for it. And then you hop on another plane, and off to Brussels you go, while your men are chasing the pastors and jailing them. Remember, God knows all about it. God keeps a record of it. This is called colossal hypocrisy. God help us.